Hey guys, so this is a great question actually, which is the question of like, hey, is there a group for the Stoic? Um, is there a group for the Stoic meeting discussions? And this is something I've thought about and toyed with quite a bit. So let me just backtrack. Really, what the question is, you know, what about these meetings that don't fit into this certain channel list where there's going to be, and do we create another group for those in their channel, one of these discussion areas on the left? And uh, let me backtrack a little bit to explain how we got here. So first thing is, uh, in building out that app that we did previously that we didn't get finished, and then now moving on to Discord, we actually took all the content from MEMS Group, 5,000 posts, ran it through AI to give us all the categories, because we needed to build out our own custom list of categories for the last app. And it gave us a very clear list. And then I went through and reviewed the list and verified, yeah, this is actually really accurate and a great summary. And then I modified the list myself based on the needs of our community. And then I talked to lots of people like Darren about it, about the idea of, okay, well, we need to have a structure that isn't too overwhelming, that breaks up these topics enough so that people don't feel like they're overwhelmed by all the stuff going on, but they can find what they need. So we needed to break these things up into separate little categories, and we have a whole list of channels there, and you can see them all more clearly if you go into browse channels here. This really is the full list of everything. And so basically from this social time down, these are all the channels that basically we came up with. Channels being separate discussion areas, which is similar to these Mighty Networks spaces that we had, except spaces had this sub sort of menu that I do list events and members and stuff like that. So really, this is a multi-part question that you're asking here. That isn't just about the Stoic meeting, but I think we've done a pretty good job of identifying the summary categories that encompass things, all the different meetings that we have. We looked at all the meetings as well, and that factored into how we created our channel list here. And so this question of the Stoic meeting, which, by the way, we don't have all the events in here yet. These are just placeholder events. We only created 12 or 13, but there's actually more like 50 recurring events. More actually. So you might just not be in there, but the one of your questions is, it seems like you guys have, is like, okay, well, is there going to be a specific discussion area for the daily Stoic meeting? And the answer is we could create Stoicism here as a channel and create a voice channel. But then the challenge is that we have a lot of different, and if a topic is big enough, I'm open to doing that. I'm definitely open to doing that. But the the issue with that is that that's a slippery slope, right? Because we have a lot of meetings that probably don't fit into specific channels. Specifically, there might be like Men of Tech. Where's that going to go? Or I don't know. There's some other ones. Let me see if there's some examples here. Divorce, that's clear cheating, infidelity, divorce, saving relationships and masculinity. Like, which one's that going to go into? Like that's a combination of two channels that we have. So I guess the point is that building up the man, the mirror, I guess that's confidence would be in there. So the point is that if building up the man, the mirror, if we created a different channel for each of these, then all of a sudden what's going to happen is we're going to have a lot of issues with there being too many of these channels, people being overwhelmed by it, and stuff not getting engaged with. So my own personal take is that I think that things like the Stoic meeting should just be posted in here in the mindset and philosophy channel, or whichever one we feel is most appropriate. This has a couple benefits. Number one, more people are going to get exposure to it than if it's in its own little sub channel that's based on the meeting by itself. And number two, it limits all the channel lists turning into chaos and being overwhelming and unusable for people and getting less engagement. And so in this case, like this, yeah, Stoicism is a philosophy. So I'd host it in Mindset Philosophy, and maybe somebody else hosts a different philosophy event on a different philosophical topic. But now you got a wider net you're catching from, because everybody's interested in mindset or philosophy will be notified and will know when your event's happening, and they could see you in that event because it's going to be right in here, and they could just hop in, which we've already seen from our testing. So, and then third part of this question is, well, but then where do these events get posted? And I think it's what we did here. So you can see event details, event link. This links to an event. It's not as the Stoic meeting. Again, this is a placeholder, all the event details. The only way we can really display that in any useful format is if you pin a post. You can go pin. In this case, it's already pinned. And then you go up to pin, and this could be our events list for any channel. So any channel you go into, they have their own pins list. We just have to train people on that. So that's how I think we're going to move forward with all this. But I welcome any thoughts, suggestions you have around how this could be done best. All right, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.